The International Society for Technology in Education, known as ISTE, has 5 sets of standards related to technology use in schools. The 5 sets relate to those for students, for teachers, for administrators, for coaches, and for computer science educators. Please note that the standards for coaches are not for coaches of sports. These are for coaches in terms of technology coaches, mentors, curriculum support specialists, and the like, who are employed to assist teachers and administrators in the implementation of technology. For our purposes, we are going to focus on the standards for students and the standards for teachers. The standards for students outline the different skills, um, conditions, and applications relating to P12 students using technology in learning. The standards themselves are fairly self-explanatory, and for each standard there are outcomes or benchmarks that students are expected to meet. The technology standards are not necessarily like curriculum standards where specific skills down to almost tasks are identified. The technology standards are a little more broad and allow for application in different contexts for different subject areas and different grade levels. So for example, the 6 standards outlined here are for P12 students. They are applicable to any grade level, any age level, any content area. Curriculum standards would focus specifically on a grade level or a subject area. So the standards: creativity and innovation, communication and collaboration, research and information fluency, critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making, digital citizenship, and technology operations and concepts, outline the 7 major applications of technology in P12 learning. We will review each of them briefly, one by one. Standard 1, creativity and innovation, outlines how students may use technology to demonstrate learning through the creation of some type of product. This would extend beyond a simple class presentation or a simple essay. This would uh, be a set of standards that support students using technology in outside the box manners to demonstrate what they've learned. Standard 2, communication and collaboration, is a set of standards that align pretty closely to what most people do all day, every day now, and that is in some way, shape, or form interact with others. Standard 2 would include uses of social media, such as social bookmarking and networking, other types of communication tools to include email, which is a little past generational now, but still certainly a part of our everyday lives. P12 students would probably refer to texting before email. Standard 3, research and information fluency, is a set of standards that supports students learning how to use technology to locate information, how to judge whether sources of information available digitally, primarily online, are valid, and how to discern fact from fiction. Standard 4, creative thinking, problem solving, and decision making, is a standard that encourages the use of technology to accomplish what may have not been accomplished otherwise. Um, there are applications of technology that enable students to think, solve, investigate a little more critically and substantially than they could without, and this standard supports that. Standard 5, digital citizenship, basically refers to the proper and ethical use of technology. Digital citizenship is a relatively new term that is used to encapsulate ethics in relation to technology use. And finally, Standard 6 is more or less the technology literacy standard of the 6. It is the one that supports students knowing how to use technology for productivity. The second set of standards that we will focus on in the course are the standards for teachers. Now, in comparing the standards for students to the standards for teachers, you will not necessarily find a one-to-one relationship, but you will find some common themes throughout. The standards for students focus on what students will do as a requirement of a course or in the execution of some type of learning activity. As you can probably imagine, the standards for teachers focus on the input to that model. So the students' standards are focused on the output of something. The teachers' standards are focused on the input because the teachers are the ones who are designing those experiences for the students. There are 5 National Educational Technology Standards for teachers, and just as with the student standards, we will go through them one by one. Standard 1, facilitate and inspire student learning and creativity. This is a standard that supports the approach teachers will hopefully take to allow students to use technology to demonstrate what they learned and to learn content in ways that differ from the old traditional brick and mortar only classroom. Standard 2, design and develop digital age learning experiences and assessments. So Standard 1 relates to encouraging students to use technology to demonstrate their learning and be creative. Standard 2 supports the creation of digital or technology-driven learning environments where students may be creative. Standard 3, model digital age work and learning. So for teachers, modeling digital age work and learning would be demonstrating to students how to use technology productively. An appropriate use of technology in learning goes far beyond simply assigning it to students. Teachers must possess the knowledge and skills themselves, and they must demonstrate that knowledge and skill for their students. Standard 4, promote and model digital citizenship and responsibility. As I mentioned in the discussion on the student standards, digital citizenship refers to the ethical use of technology, and teachers must not only teach their students how to be responsible digital citizens, but they themselves must also be responsible digital citizens. And Standard 5, engage in professional growth and leadership. The 5th standard encourages teachers to continually participate in learning activities where they may extend their knowledge, where they may acquire new skills in order to bring those back to the classroom to improve the caliber of learning they provide their students.